Welcome to Sunny Dialogues with Coach Evolved Faith. Today I want to share how love can prevent and heal depression, because it is good to heal, but it's always good to be proactive and find ways in which we can ensure that we don't get to the point, our stress doesn't get to the level of being depression. Love is such a major component of healing, and not just depression but so many other things, and even just making us have a fullness of life. The first love that I'll talk about is self-love. Most of the times when you talk about self-love, people tend to think that when you love yourself, you're being selfish. But I want to demystify self-love and distinguish it from selfishness. Being a person who knows how to love yourself can be a great benefit to love others. When you don't know how to love yourself, you'll not be in a position to know how to love another person or even show acts of kindness to other people when you're selfish. But when you love yourself, then you're able to empathize and put yourself in the other person's shoes, and therefore love them the way you are supposed to love them. So what is self-love? Self-love is the state of knowing yourself, understanding yourself, accepting yourself, affirming yourself, forgiving yourself. It is a state of being because it is a state you start with your thoughts, the kind of thoughts you have about who you are and where your thoughts are coming from. Think about the kind of thoughts that you have regarding yourself. We tend to be the harshest critic of ourselves, even more than other people. So when you examine the thoughts that you have, you will know whether you actually care about yourself, whether you show yourself kindness and compassion, or whether you're really harsh on yourself because you expect to live a certain way and meet standards that are already set for you by others, and therefore you're constantly failing to meet the threshold, and you start feeling, because you have not met the threshold that the society around you expects you to have, you'll start feeling like you're not worthy. Sometimes you may tell somebody, oh, one day you will even own that kind of car or that kind of a house, and somebody says, oh no, those are not stuff for people like me, those are not stuff for people in our league. And therefore in your mind you have already disqualified yourself from owning or experiencing good things in life. So you think that it's only other people who can experience good things, but you do not qualify to get those things. In beginning to love yourself, you have to start working on your thoughts and clean them up, and then reframe the way you think and start thinking positively about yourself, and start accepting that each one of us deserves to have the best. Each one of us has been put here on this earth with a reason, with a purpose, and therefore we all qualify and we all have the potential to do great exploits with our lives. We have the right to enjoy, we have the right to own things, we have the right to be happy, we have the right to be free. Examine the circumstances that you're in, because just as much as you have the right to own and to belong, remember that we are so many of us in this world, and therefore each one of us having a right will also mean that there are slots that we may not be able to occupy all of us at the same time. For example, if it is in a relationship, there's one man for one woman, and two of you are competing for the same. In the office situation, you have the CEO of an organization. There can only be one person feeling the vacancy that is there. So when you love yourself and accept yourself, and then you will know if you get the position, it's not because you were better than the other people, but it was because there was one position that needed to be filled, and there had to be a criteria to ensure one person is selected. But that does not mean that when you don't get that position that you are not worthy. Being in that state of understanding and knowing and appreciating how life is and what life is all about, and being able to understand and read situations as they come, then you'll be able to accept yourself. Yeah, accept yourself even when you don't get that promotion. Accept yourself even when you don't get that man or that woman that you are aspiring to have, but somebody else was chosen. In a love situation, when it doesn't work out, it's because there's another person that is perfect. Love relationship does not work out. It's because you're not right for each other, but that person is right for another person, and you are right for another person. And I think when you look at things from that perspective of understanding and appreciating that we all deserve the best, then we'll be able to appreciate and let go of situations that might depress us and distress us because we feel like we're rejected. Self-love also has a component of self-acceptance. When you accept yourself, you choose not to reject yourself. And in choosing to accept yourself, then you choose also not to reject other people, but to choose to work with what works with you, to work with people that you connect with and relate with comfortably. The minute you learn to love yourself, you will love yourself, and you will prevent yourself from falling prey to depression. Because depression makes you feel like you don't deserve. Depression makes you feel unworthy. You suffer so low self-esteem. But the minute you learn to accept yourself, and you'll accept yourself and learn to accept situations, and a lot of times you realize that a lot of unlearning has to take place for you to be able to love yourself fully and accept yourself fully the way you are, because there are layers and layers of different thoughts, different ideations that have been imposed on you in such a way that you may feel like you're not good enough, or you may feel that you have to be in competition with other people to compete for the existing slots. Best competition you can ever have in this life is to compete with yourself, to spend time with yourself, understand yourself, understand the things that make you happy, understand the things that don't make you happy. And once you know things that don't make you happy, then you can avoid them, or you can do them in very little doses. And when you understand yourself, then you will also know which areas to focus on to make your life more interesting. You'll know which people are you inclined to be happy when you're together with them. You will know the kind of things that you're good at, and you will pursue them, and you will also know your limits. We have different temperaments, we have different personalities. You will understand your personality and align yourself with that personality that God has given you. So that's knowing yourself. Know yourself. If you get angry very fast and you don't know, then you can easily mess around. But the minute you know that you get angry very fast, then you will work towards managing your anger, and you'll work towards avoiding situations that trigger you to lose your temper. So self-love entails a lot of personal education. As people you interact with the community, they have put layers on you, and therefore you have to keep peeling those layers so that you can get in touch with who you truly are. Very important, and it's part of the journey of self-love. And express kindness to yourself the same way you'd express that kindness to other people. Even before I seek forgiveness from the other person, because the minute I accept I'm a human being and I can make mistakes as an act of loving myself, then I start the journey of self-forgiveness and then seek forgiveness from the other person. And if somebody makes the same mistake towards me, I'm also willing to forgive them, because loving yourself also means that you take care of yourself. There's the aspect of grooming in self-care, but there's also the aspect of your diet. Take care of the diet, the foods that you eat. Are you eating healthy? Because when you eat healthy, you're honoring and loving your body and respecting it. You're loving yourself enough to make sure that you give yourself good health. When you exercise, when you rest, when you do fun activities that excite you and make you happy, those are acts of self-love. And even spending time with friends is also an act of self-love, because you are allowing yourself to feed from other people and enjoy that interaction that you have with other people. So self-love, it's a whole tool that is very critical in preventing depression. And if you're already in a depressed state, just working on your self-love will get you out of depression.